country becoming something more like Mex-America-Canada, and we've got to stop the insanity. This isn't an unofficial offshoot of the NAFTA superhighway plan, a proposal that would build a highway that is 4 football fields wide and will stretch all the way from Mexico, cutting right through the heartland of America, to Canada. See, the advocates of this kind of progress are always yammering on about free trade, but the facts don't back them up. Just like the original NAFTA sent over 600,000 U.S. jobs south of the border, and Mexico is now even starting to feel the NAFTA sting, this plan to allow Mexican trucks throughout the U.S. will only hurt American trucking, the industry that helped build this country into the economic giant that it is, allowing lower-waged, lower standard Mexican drivers to compete in the U.S. market with regulated American truck drivers is the very definition of unfair trade. International corporations win, while the working man here in America loses. As I said a minute ago, I'm a conservative, but I think I found a way to even convince Al Gore and Leonardo DiCaprio that this is a bad idea. Al and Leo, hear me out here. While you're carpooling in your Prius and stuck in all the new traffic that this moronic plan would create, roll down your window and take a deep breath and think about this. One study predicts that Mexican trucks would add 50 tons per day of smog-forming emissions into the air, more than all the pollution generated by the 350 biggest industrial sources combined. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of diluting our sovereignty. I am sick of politicians telling us half-truths, untruths, and everything but the truth. North America is not one country, but 3 of them, and I like it that way. I love Mexican food, and Canada usually shuts the yap and minds their own business. You make good neighbors. Really, you do, Canada. Maybe the European Union is comfortable with giving up their individual identities in favor of cultural and economic homogenization, but not here, not in America. The economic, environmental, and national security impact of this idiotic proposal is far too great to ignore, but that's what we'll do. We certainly don't need to give more people more ways in and out of our country. We can't even patrol the ones we have now. Like it or not, in the post-9/11 world, our protection must take precedent over big business and, dare I say, big cats. Here now is James P. Hoffa, president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Jim, you said that this plan is playing a game of Russian roulette on America highways. What do you mean by that?
Well, absolutely. We're turning unsafe trucks, unsafe truck drivers from Mexico, opening up our borders when there's no showing that they are safe or that these drivers have the necessary training. Congress said a while back, just a couple years ago, that there shall be no cross-border trucking until they meet our standards. They haven't met our standards. And does anybody believe what the Bush administration is saying about that they're going to inspect thousands of trucks?
No.
Well, I've been to the border. No one's inspecting anything. And they're basically going to turn these people loose. I've got another one. The American driving public is really the guinea pig for this very dangerous experiment.
Okay, so please, I continue to ask this question, and it always is answered the same way. It's one of 2 ways, either money or I don't know. But as I'm looking at this, I just started jotting down on the side of this story just reasons why it's a bad idea. Bad for our air quality, bad for the safety on our roads, bad for homeland security, bad for border security, bad for drugs, bad for American jobs. So why the hell are our politicians doing it?
Well, there's a groupthink here in Washington about the border and about NAFTA, which I'm fighting and you're fighting. And we're saying, you know, we are sovereign countries. We should protect our highways. And what's happening is there's this groupthink that we've got to open these borders. And they're along with the other people, which are really the money people, the big corporations that have moved across the Rio Grande, the GMs, the Sonys, the General Electrics, you know, hundreds and hundreds of major corporations that want cheap trucking. They don't give a damn about the safety of our highways. And they want to unleash these trucks coming across the border so they can save a few bucks and they can put it in their pocket for their CEOs. That's what it's all about. You know, it's the old story, Glenn, when you can't figure it out, it's about money.
Okay, tell me if this is true, because it sure rings true to me. $25 is what a Mexican truck driver is paid currently to take a load across the border. Why do we think that some drug lord wouldn't say to somebody who's making $25 per delivery, why wouldn't we believe that somebody would come to him and say, hey, I got $10,000, just get this across the border?
Well, I think that's happened already. I know of incidents like that. I got one better for you. You just think about, the fact that we don't know who these people are. The Mexican government, NAFTA's been law since what, 1992, 1993. They've had all this time to modernize their system to make it like the United States. To this day, they still don't have a computer system that basically track truck drivers just like they track you and me and our cars. I have a record, you have a record. If I get a speeding ticket, it's somewhere in a computer. They don't even have that. So when these people come across the border, you're right. We don't know who they are. We don't know if they're really the people they say they are. We all know that you can buy fake ID anywhere in Mexico or San Diego or Tijuana.
New York.
Or New York. And so who are these people? They're not in a computer, so how do we know who they are?
Okay, so Jim, quick, I've got about 20 seconds. What is it that the guy who's currently screaming, at their television, sitting in their couch, what is it we can do? We're tired of hearing this with nothing to do.
Well, the Teamsters are leading the fight. A number of politicians, Patty Murray, a number of people are going to have hearings. We're going to speak out about the emissions. We're going to speak about highway safety, and we're going to call attention to this. The answer is, it's the old story. If we don't stand up and speak out, write your congressman. Let's do something to try and turn this around.
All right, Jim, thanks.
Thank you.
That's the real story tonight. We'll be back in a minute.